The life which we live and seek is the same life that thousands of IDPs, refugees, and hungry people are wished to live. Those are the vulnerable people who are suffering from war, poverty, and diseases and other natural disasters like drought, desertification, and floods. The Sudanese Red Crescent Society was established in 1956 by Ministerial Decree number 869 as a voluntary society aimed to help vulnerable people. Then the society was developed and increased to cover all parts of the Sudan in order to meet the huge disasters needs. In the 1990s, the number of Srcs branches reached about 26 states. As a result of the separation of South Sudan in 2011, the number of branches became 15 branches to cover all Sudan. As a result of the separation of South Sudan in 2011, the number of branches became 15 branches to cover all Sudan states. Sudanese Red Crescent Law was passed by Parliament in 2010, and the society became the leading organization for humanitarian work and disaster response in Sudan. So the Sudanese Red Crescent Society became directly under the supervision of Cabinet of Ministers. The wide existence of Srcs all over the Sudan assisted in attracting more than 15 partners of national societies, in addition to the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, International Committee of the Red Cross, UN agencies, as well as the local and international organizations. The wide existence of Srcs all over the Sudan assisted in attracting more than 15 partners of national societies, in addition to the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, International Committee of the Red Cross, UN agencies, as well as the local and international organizations. During the last year, the number of beneficiaries served by health services reached about 2 million people. The fund for these projects contributed by German Red Cross, Swiss Red Cross, Norwegian Red Cross, Qatar Red Crescent, Swedish Red Cross, Spanish Red Cross, Australian Red Cross, Netherlands Red Cross, Saudi Red Crescent, Turkish Red Crescent, Iranian Red Crescent, IFRC, ICRC, and in addition to UN agencies like UNICEF, UNFPA, UNHCR, WHO, as well as international organizations such as GISMER, World Vision, and some embassies. Regarding to water and sanitation activities, the Srcs conducts cleanup and spraying campaign, filling pools and constructing dams and drilling bores, as well as providing hand pumps to serve people in Sinar, Gadaref, Kassala, Darfur State, White Nile State, Red Sea State, South Kordofan State, and the Blue Nile State, where the total beneficiaries reach 153,229 people. The partners of these projects are German Red Cross, Swiss, Qatar, Saudi, and UN agencies. In the area of food security, the Srcs provides agricultural tools and seeds to the vulnerable people in the states of the Red Sea, White Nile, South Kordofan, Blue Nile, and Kassala. Besides that, Srcs provides agricultural, guiding, and fishing tools and develops capacities within the communities. The number of people benefited from such services reached about 66,943 people. The main donors to these activities are Spanish Red Cross, Danish, German Red Cross, and WFP and Development Fund. The Sudanese Red Crescent Society has a leading role in the field of emergencies. When the society establishes and activates its emergency rooms during the times of disasters on levels of headquarters and branches. Also, the Srcs is very quick in response to disasters, especially in conflict areas in Darfur and bordering areas, where Srcs serves victims of conflicts with food and non-food items. The Srcs provides emergency health services, which include constructing of mobile and fixed clinics, through which the services of health, education, sanitation, and treatment services are provided. In addition to that, the volunteers of the National Society evacuate the wounded people during conflicts as well as dead bodies management. During the natural disasters, especially in flood times, the Sudanese Red Crescent Society establishes its emergency rooms to be working 24 hours in the affected areas. It's worth mentioning that the National Society is a member of the High Committee of Emergency. The Sudanese Red Crescent Society has coordination with its partners in launching of appeals to serve the targeted people. The appeals are usually prepared and submitted through the Federation and the other movements and non-movement partners, where the targeted people served with food and non-food items, health services, portable water spraying campaigns, constructing of health facilities, and assessment activities. The Sudanese Red Crescent, in collaboration with International Federation, has launched 4 appeals. The first appeal was to target 300,000 beneficiaries in the Blue Nile State in the bordering areas with South Sudan, also in South Kordofan and Abyei. The second appeal was to target 9,000 households of the returnees from South Sudan. The third appeal targeted 64,000 of the affected people in the Red Sea State, while the fourth and the last appeal was launched to serve 15,000 refugees from South Sudan. On the areas of disasters, preparedness and responses, the Sudanese Red Crescent, supported by European Commission and IFRC, trains the communities on flood risk reduction. Until now, about 53,500 people were trained in Darfur and Blue Nile State. In the field of humanitarian values, the Sudanese Red Crescent, in collaboration with ICRC, managed to reunify family members by distributing messages through its branches all over the country. The Srcs also conducts dissemination sessions in conflict areas on the international humanitarian law. Partnerships with UN agencies: UNFPA in Kassala, West Darfur, River Nile, Northern State, Gadaref, and White Nile State. Partnership with UNDP in area of capacity building. WHO in areas of health and nutrition. WFB in Darfur State, South Kordofan, Kassala, Blue Nile, White Nile. to provide food for refugees and IDPs. UNICEF provides water and sanitation services in West Darfur, Kassala, and Gadaref. Partnership with UNHCR and Srcs to provide refugee services in West Darfur, Kassala, and White Nile State. Partnership with UNJLC during emergencies. Due to the fact that Srcs playing a major role in response to emergencies, but still faced with many challenges and problems, which may negatively affect its work and mission, such as lack of resources and weak partner responses. Finally, the Sudanese Red Crescent managed to provide its humanitarian services to cover over 5 million people within the Sudan.